Manchester United is our desire. Through the rain, through the fight, Red Devils blaze through the night. Stars wave high in crimson tide. Streets alive, the city's pride. From Stratford End to every stand, belief and power in our hands. Glory, glory, hearts on fire. Manchester United is our desire. Through the rain, through the fight, Red Devils blaze through the night. Legends etched these hollowed walls. Giggs, Cantona, their shadow calls. Teeth clenched, fist raised, we won't hide. This is United, the Red Army tide. Glory, glory, hearts on fire. Manchester United is our desire.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to MUFC Spotlight. Yes, we are back once again. This time there will be no long hiatus, I promise you. Maybe. Oh dear. I am joined today by Rebel as we look ahead to tomorrow night's game where Manchester United are taking a very convincing 3-0 lead against Athletic Club. That's not Athletic Bilbao, it's Athletic Club because they will murder you if you call them Bilbao. Rebel, how are we, buddy?
Not too bad at all. I'm really digging that new intro. It's snazzy. But can I just mention one particular part of it? The aura that surrounds Eric Cantona in that goal celebration. Like, talk about godly presence. And the other thing is, I know we're building a new stadium, but I don't want it. I want my Old Trafford.
I know. I mean, those images in that obviously are Old Trafford. You can see how much it's changed through the years. It's our home. I'd much rather renovate than rebuild, to be honest. But we're not here for that, Rebel. We're not here for
I
that.
know.
Like I said, we are here to talk about the game tomorrow. But before we do that, there has been some interesting news over the last couple of days about a certain somebody, our captain, our Portuguese Magnifico, Bruno Fernandes, who is apparently going to be subject to a English transfer record bid from Al Hilal as they want this player before the World Cup club tournament, whatever it's called, you know, that rubbish thing that everyone's in. I think the question is, keep or sell, Rebel?
Okay. Here's the weird thing for me. Number one, we could actually be in it next time because if we win the Europa League, I think that puts us in the mix for the next iteration, unfortunately. But here's the bizarre thing you need to look at, right? It's a double-forked snake. On one head, there's Bruno Fernandes, second to only Mo Salah in terms of goal contributions in terms of Premier League players, and probably without whom we'd be pretty much in relegation trouble this season. On the other side, 31 in September, probably the last time that we'll ever actually get a bid of this magnitude for him. Like, I'd imagine the next time that the opportunity for Bruno to leave will be either through retirement or a free transfer because his contract isn't renewed. And there's the whole thing about if this figure is true, and it seems like an absolutely crazy figure. 115 to 150 million pounds is what some of the rags in the media are reporting. How close to the pulse they are is anyone's guess. I haven't seen anybody from The Athletic reporting it yet, so I usually kind of put a bit of stock in their numbers when they're putting them out there. That's a gargantuan PSR influx for a summer window. I think me and you, we had a conversation about this before the show went live, and we were kind of adding up him plus Anthony plus Rashford plus a few additional kind of surplus players. And I think we were coming in with an influx of around 250 to 300 million pounds in terms of transfers fees in. The beauty of the PSR system, no, I think it's a lot of SH1T anyway, the way that they do it, but we get the full value of those transfer fees this season. But our spending, I think, is the cap 5 or 7, I can't remember, is the Todd Bowley rule anyway, because of his ridiculous long contracts, they had to do this.
Yep.
But let's just take 5 years. If we're getting in 250, 300 million pounds, technically we can spend 5x that. We won't, obviously, but technically we could. Like, the Bruno Fernandes transfer loan could probably get us a goalkeeper, a left and right back, another central midfielder, and a striker.
It could. I mean, like you said, we've heard some wacky numbers. So record is 115 million. So they're saying it's going to be north of that. So what's that? 120. Like you said, we've heard 150 million. I mean, it all depends on how much they actually want Bruno Fernandes, I suppose. This information has come from a Portuguese source. I'm just trying to find who it actually was. Record Portugal, which is a football journalist source over in Portugal. Portuguese player playing in England, it's not unheard of that they will get this information. But recently as well, Sky have said that this deal isn't going to happen anytime soon. And Bruno Fernandes is very happy at Manchester United and isn't planning on leaving. The worry I have is Manchester United are no longer run as a football club. We are run as a business. So, am I well in my rights to say, I'm not fully convinced this won't happen, because I am quite worried in regards to the businessmen that are Sir Jim and the Glazers looking at a potential £150 million, let's say, and going, yes, I'll have some of that. Thank you very much.
That's a very interesting point. And I suppose what you have to kind of delve in there in terms of that is within the contract that was signed when the takeover, partial takeover was done, there is a restriction in withdrawals until I think is it 2027, 2028. So if it was for sale, if we were selling, it has to stay within the club. So that is the only kind of, I suppose, solace that I can take from that side of things. The nearest comparable that I have to this situation with Bruno Fernandes is Kevin De Bruyne last year. The only difference being, though, is Kevin De Bruyne didn't feel he was good enough to play in the Premier League last season, or at the start of this season. He thought that his time was up and that his body clock was naturally slowing down. And I think he'd actively made his peace to either go to an MLS club or possibly taking the Saudi Pro League or whatever they call it over there, the money from there. But Kevin De Bruyne was convinced by Pep, possibly because maybe Pep's in his last season, who knows, to stay on. Bruno Fernandes is only 31 September. Technically, if he doesn't get injured, there's probably 2.5 seasons left in him where he's probably at the top of his game. The question is, how tempting for him at this stage in his career is this once in a lifetime ridiculous contract that he would be offered going to be to him. Like, does he look at Manchester United if he wins us the Europa League? Let's just kind of preface the tonight's main topic. If he wins us the Europa League, brings us back to Champions League, does he say, well, now Manchester United, you're at the ground floor of your rebuild. I've served you. I'm going to take this transfer for the benefit of your rebuild because I know what this money is going to mean to the club. And he goes out crying after the Europa League final.
I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility, is it? Let's be honest. And I just want to say as well, they're offering him a lot of money to go play. I mean, it's not confirmed, but I'm hearing in the region of anywhere between 2.5 million and 3.2 million a week. A week. And it is completely untaxable as well. So it's guaranteed. I mean, listen, hey, Al Aliad, if you're listening, if you've somehow stumbled across this, I will turn this channel into an El Haliad fan channel for £2,000 a month. No problem.
Each.
Yeah, each. two grand a month each. We'll go live, a couple of days a week and promote you. Not a problem. Yes, I will sell out. Oh, dearie me. Anyway, right, let's actually go, because I don't think this is going to happen. This Bruno thing's going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. It might be a case of if we don't win the Europa League, we have to sell him. We don't know. But let's actually go into what we're here for, and that is tomorrow night's game, Rebel.
Yes, indeed.
Against Athletic Club. 3-0 victory in the first leg. We played very well after the first 20 minutes. What's your thoughts about this game?
No, obviously, knowing what I know is coming down the tracks, I think this game essentially is going to stand on whether or not Manchester United concede the first goal. If Manchester United go out there and in the first 10 minutes they get one back, that gives them a sniff. A small sniff, but a sniff all the same. So I think if we go out there and we get a goal before they score, it's night. See you in the Europa League final. I think it's an uphill battle for them because if we were going there, I think the mentality would be quite different. I think they'd say, well, we're bringing them into our cauldron. We're saying, okay, we know you're wobbly. We know that if we can get a goal that possibly you can be at 6s and 7s for a 5-10 minute period after, and there's an opportunity to get a second, and then it's game on. But the reality is, they're coming to Old Trafford. The reality is, Manchester United are unbeaten in Europe this season. How? Don't ask me, because we see what way the league form is going. But Manchester United are unbeaten. And the way things are going in Europe, I don't see that changing at the end of 90 minutes. I think when we are sitting down watching this game tomorrow, you'll be sending me a text after 15 minutes. Job done.
Interesting. Very interesting. I'm not as confident. I'm not as confident. I just want to say a big up to Wayne and Dermo, who's in the chat. Wayne's put a question here, which I think you've kind of answered. Do you think 3-0 is a strong enough lead? It should be. It should be game over already. But this is Man United we're talking about here. We never do things the easy way, ever. He's also saying, I don't think 3-1 is strong enough lead for us against Bodo. So I've just to derail a little bit, I have spoken to Spurs fans. Obviously, we're friends with a couple of them. They're not a bad bunch, just allergic to winning silverware. I keep saying to them that 3-1, if that was the away leg, they're through.
Yeah.
but it's not. They're going to Bodo now, and Bodo are a very good team at home. I think Spurs will have enough, and I think it will be an all-English final. But Bodo are very, very good at home. I think it's fair. Is it 27 out of 20, 27 out of 34 games at home or something they've won?
Yeah, not bad. It's not a bad record. No, don't get me wrong, Colm. We went out and kind of broke a record in Bilbao, or in Athletic Club, sorry. Apologies to all Athletic fans that might stumble across this. I wouldn't mention the bad B word that you don't use anymore. But we went out there and we did something that wasn't thought could be done. Now, there's a chance that Spurs can go up there and do the same. But, as you said, to briefly digress, 4G pitch, Baltic, and quite possibly even more of a hellmouth than the Athletic Club Stadium.
Yeah, agree. One thing I do want to bring up is the injuries. Now, we have got the lineup, the squad here for Athletic Club that are going. And you'll notice the Williams brothers are not on that list because they are both out injured. Sanchez is also not on that list because he is out injured. Danny Vivien is obviously suspended from this game. Alex Berniger, I think, is suspended for this game as well. And Grossobel is suspended for this game. Now, I'm not going to say that I know these players because I don't. There is 3 players that I do know of that are very key, important players, and that is the Williams brothers and Sanchez. I mean, it's easy to say it kind of favours us, but how much does it favour us?
Okay, the thing for me when I saw that this morning was I was thinking it's very easy to say let's not bother going to England with our best players because of the scoreline. I'd imagine we might not be hearing about injuries to the Williams brothers if it was 1-0 or 2-0. But I think the fact that it's 3-0, I think they're looking at that league table, La Liga. They're, I think, within a game of qualifying for Champions League through that. So I think the mindset possibly, and I don't speak for Athletic Club and their fans, is that our best path to the Champions League now is through the league. This fixture is something we need to fulfill. We're not going to send a useless squad. There's 90% of them are clearly still there.
Mm.
But they're kind of doing the equations. They're saying 3-0, England, unbeaten in Europe, Manchester United squad. Probably a bit too much to do.
Camera's gone dead. I've been having this issue for ages. It just did a funky little thing and it's just died on me. No, yeah, I agree. I mean, they've obviously got 2 ways of getting into Champions League. It looks like, the league, La Liga, is the best way of doing so. I don't know who they've actually got in the next game, but I'm pretty sure we'll see the likes of the Williams brothers appear back again by that game. Let me take that off. And this is... Why am I lying?
Rar.
God. Oh, dear. No. I'll sort that out in a second. There we go. I'll be that one. There we go. This is our predicted lineup, Rebel. So... Onana, Maguire, Lindelof, Yoro, Ahmad, Casemiro, Ugarte, Garnacho. Dorgu's playing up top. It's not meant to be. He's meant to be where Garnacho is, so ignore that. Bruno Fernandes and Rasmus Højlund. The concern I have is, yes, as much as a servant he has been, I think Lindelof is the weak link in that team, minus Onana.
Absolutely. I think if Heaven hadn't got injured, Heaven would have been it'd be Heaven, Maguire, and Euro.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, we are missing obviously Dillett. He's out injured now, which he could be back for the final. They have said it might not be a complete season ender. And Martinez is out, Xerxes out, Dallow's out, Heaven's out, Collier's out. We've got our fair share of injuries as well.
Yeah.
But do you think it's that team is strong enough to get the job just to get the job done?
I'd put it this way. They could have me and you starting in that lineup, and they should have sufficient nous about them to hold out a 3-goal lead. I think there'd be something severely wrong if we crash and burn. Now, I do have a question for you at the end regarding some transfer speculation on the goalkeeper front, but I'll save that until any other business at the end. But like Euro's starting to show the quality that he has. Harry Maguire, I don't know where this is coming from, but he's playing with a level of confidence and swag that I've never seen from him in a United shirt, especially in Europe. Like that cross he did in the last leg was ridiculous.
Yeah, Harry Maguire turned into a right winger. It was the craziest things. I mean, I was watching it and I was like, no, Maguire pass it. No, Maguire pass it. And just skip past him, cross him, pin perfect. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just sit down and shut up. Yes, Carl, he is a left wing back. When I've done it, it's swapped it around for some reason. I'm not sure why. So ignore that. Garnacho and Dorgu should be swapped. Speaking of Garnacho,
yes,
he is getting a lot of critics at the moment for his selfish play. But he makes things happen. I mean, we've seen quite a lot of times him pull out a piece of brilliance by being selfish.
Yep.
But we've also started seeing a lot of errors. Would you play Mason Mount or somebody of that ilk over the top of Garnacho tomorrow?
No. I think by playing a Mason Mount, you probably make things a little bit more comfortable for Athletic Club.
He scored at weekend.
He was good. Don't get me wrong, but I think the creative speed that Garnacho has, it frightens defenses. It causes them to think a bit more. Whereas with Mount, it probably slows the build-up play a bit more because he has a completely different style. Now, it does lead me to the question that I'm going to bat back to you, Mr. Cullen. It's obviously Garnacho seems to be a square peg in a round hole in this Ruben Amorim system. And there's some speculation that obviously Ahmad maybe should be the one that would be next to Bruno. And I don't know how you feel about that, but is Ahmad more of the type of player to fit that 10 role?
Yes. I do see where you're coming from. However, I love Ahmed out on that side. The guy's got pace, he's got technical skill. I mean, you saw what he did when he came on, the couple of little touches he had and he flicked it round the player and he were gone, and I think him playing more centrally loses that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need him out on the wing. I mean, to be fair, the player I want playing next to Bruno Fernandes, to be fair, we can't have because he's injured. And that's Xerxes. I would love Xerxes to be there because he just brings something. And I don't know. For me, Garnacho is irritating, but
brilliant.
Yes, exactly. But brilliant. It's the same as Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes can be irritating, but you can't take him out of our squad. He has to stay in that squad. There is another lineup that I have seen that I will bring in, and I want to know if you feel more comfortable with this one instead. Now, I haven't made this one. This is from somebody called United Alex 7. And that's his lineup.
Oh, no. What's his name? Is Shalberto fit?
He doesn't say he's out injured on our injury list, so I presume so. He just couldn't play a full 90 minutes at the weekend.
I do like that lineup. The only difference probably is I wouldn't like to leave Ahmed out of the starting lineup. So whether it's to replace Mazraoui or to replace Garner from the start would be the question there.
Yeah, it's kind of giving me food for thought. This one, obviously the other one is the predicted lineup that's been shared from the Standard. That's their predicted lineup. It's not mine. It's not yours. It's just theirs. When we could go on for hours about predicted lineups, but we won't do that because it gets boring. I think I prefer this one, but I probably would put Ahmed in over Mazraoui. As much as I love Mazraoui, because he's been one of our best signings, for a while. I just think Ahmad brings something attacking wise that Mazraoui doesn't, which is natural because he's an attacker, But let's talk about the elephant in the room here, Rasmus Højlund, a player that both myself and you, when we signed him, had massive praise for because we both thought, yes, this kid is going to be something special. It's not quite turned out that way. How important is it that the players try and feed Højlund tomorrow, despite the scoreline it is at the moment, because we need his confidence up because he's the only striker we have?
Here's the thing for me with Rasmus Højlund. I think if you had him at the top of the Arsenal team, the top of the City team, or the top of the Liverpool team, or even the top of the Chelsea team, he's bagging 20 goals in the Premier League season. I think a lot of his problems is that we're finding that he's coming deeper. So in the system that Ruben Amorim plays, he likes his striker to basically go full tank mode and steam forward on a break through the centre. And I'm not sure if that's his strongest attribute. Like, you can see that when he does place his shots, he places them very well. He puts them in difficult spots for keepers. And unfortunately for him, I think because of the state we're in, I think he's a player that could possibly do with going on loan, rejuvenating his career, and then deciding whether or not Manchester United is something that he can come back to and affect. Because you saw what happened with Ahmed. Ahmed, when he arrived first day, he struggled. He went to Rangers on loan, did all right. He went to the Championship on loan, and he gained a lot of strength and a lot of understanding for the way defences kind of come at him in the Championship, because you don't get a second down there. You have to read your defences. And I can't help but feel that maybe either we get a senior striker, a la, kind of the likes of a Harry Kane type kind of experience that is able to mould him and kind of teach him how to position himself and to maximise his skill set, or we move on from him. Like, his best football was when he played the Xerxes role, deeper. And the problem with that is there's nobody ahead of him then to play the ball. So I think there's a decision coming there. But your question was can we rely on him tomorrow? And the answer is yes, we're 3-0 up.
It's fair enough. I mean, to go off your point of loaning him, I think it's very difficult to justify. I know he's only a young player, but it's very difficult to justify a player that's cost us, what 80 million in total, I think
Yeah.
it cost us. You don't loan out 80 million pound players, although we've loaned out Anthony and Sancho.
Now, Bear, I just want to point out, Anthony's probably going to come back and pay us because Real Betis's profile of play has made him shine, and now at the other athletic club, Atletico, are interested for about £50 million.
Yeah, which I'd do because, he's clearly killing it over there, to be fair. Let him go prosper. I don't think he fits in Amorim's system. Anyway, I hope Rasmus gets a couple of goals tomorrow. Build up his confidence. Now, I know you wanted to speak about something before we wrap it up and get into predicted score lines. I also want to say big up to Carl, who's making fun of the fact that it looks like we've got Onana up top in that second picture because the images are flipped. He's bringing up a comment saying he feels like Tell is the same at Spurs, like Højlund bags of talent, just not given the support, and the pressure is astronomical. I mean, that's one thing I think a lot of United fans forget. I mean, we're built off of youth success. That is Manchester United's history. We support the youth, we bring them in, and we build them up. It hasn't happened in a long time, but the pressure on anybody that puts on a Manchester United shirt is astronomical. And, this lad is 20. Is he 20? 21 maybe? It's a lot of pressure to be Man United's main striker at that age.
Absolutely. 110%. And we've seen multiple players in the past crumble at the weight of the jersey. Anthony Martial, there was Pogba, even to an extent, probably didn't play his best football when he was with Manchester United. His best football was at Juve. There's Diego Forlan. He had an absolutely amazing career initially in Spain afterwards. There's a long list of players that the weight of the shirt and the pressure of playing for Manchester United just got to them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it does happen. Right, I'm interested to see what it is you've put in there. So let's have a look at what it is you're going to ask.
So he's a player that was at Manchester United before. He's a 6'8" goalkeeper. Now, the one issue that I've seen highlighted about him is that, a bit like Onana, he pushes the ball out into traffic, which causes problems. But I wanted your opinion on basically what is a mountain of a goalkeeper by the name of Vanja Milinkovic-Savic.
Yeah, this is a player I have looked at because I've seen that we are linked with him. Good shot stopper. Don't get me wrong, he's a good shot stopper. He's not a play from the back goalkeeper. He don't mess about like that. Like what we brought Onana in for, who still doesn't do it. So don't know why we even bothered. I like the goalkeeper. I have got concerns. Donnarumma is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and he's 6'6", 6'5". Obviously, Milinkovic-Savic is significantly taller at 6'8". So he has got mobility, but again, it's a lot harder for goalkeepers that are that tall to get down as quick. It's just natural physics and body shape. Would he be an improvement on Onana? Yes, I think so. Will he be the revolution that we need at the back? I'm going to have to say no. I'm all up for improving me wrong. But I think there's a different profile of keeper we need. We need a David De Gea-esque keeper, in my personal opinion. I know we're not going to go get David De Gea back because that bridge is burnt. But I'm willing to give him a go. We can, because I don't think he'll cost that much. But yeah, he'll have to wait, and it's really hard.
I was just looking to see if they actually mentioned a price, but they don't. Oh, it looks like we did lose Cullen there for a second. Apologies, I didn't even realize he was gone.
Yeah, so what happened? It just kicked me out. So yeah, I think he's an improvement now. No, I'd give him a go.
You mentioned about size of goalkeepers, and before we kind of come to the wrap-up phase that you prepared for us, I do recall an Irishman by the name of Shay Given. He was nowhere near 6'8", but the way he covered his goal, you'd swear he was 10 foot tall.
Yeah, Shay Given. What were he, 6'2"?
Something
I
like
want to
that,
say. When you came up against him, it was like it was a brick wall. You shall not pass, because he was amazing. I mean, there's I can think of other ones. I mean, who's the ex-Liverpool goalkeeper? Is it Raya?
Oh yeah, the Spanish lad. Yeah, he was very good.
He was 5'11", 6 foot, and again, it was a case of you shall not pass kind of thing. So I don't think being tall is always beneficial. But tall goalkeepers are good because they've got more of a reach, I suppose. Carl's saying Alicia Savage is quality, but how is he 28? He looks a lot older than that. But yeah, I mean, 28 is kind of coming into his prime. So I think if we are getting him, we need to get another goalkeeper that is younger, because I think Baindia needs to go. He's a quality goalkeeper. There's no point in him sitting on the bench constantly, because he's just wasting his talent. But I don't think he's ready for the high reaches of Manchester United #1 goalkeeper either.
Very true. Now we have left some good goalkeepers leave us in the past. I don't know if you remember, but the Borussia Dortmund keeper was actually on our books at one point.
We've had so many good goalkeepers.
But I just want to list off a few names at you, and I want you to just give me a yeah or nay. Joan Garcia Espanyol.
No.
Andrei Lewin, Real Madrid.
Yes.
Jan Oblak.
100%.
I won't mention David. This article mentions De Gea. I won't mention him again. Mike Megan.
No.
Milan. We've already talked about Savage. Zion Zucchini, Parma.
No.
In the Bundesliga, Gregor Kobel.
I'd take Kobel. He's a fairly competent goalkeeper.
The Eintracht Frankfurt goalkeeper, Cunha Santos.
Yeah, he's done well over there. So
now this is an interesting one, because he was actually quite good in a very poor team. Mads Hermansen, Leicester City.
No. I can't have a goalkeeper of that ilk, because he's going to be leaving one area where the defence wasn't particularly very good, and we found holes in his game, coming into another one that's still finding the feet. I think that's kind of like a sideways step.
Very good. There's only a few more now, because I won't bother with the Championship Club ones. Carl Rushworth, Brighton. and Bart Verbergen, Brighton, are two other names that they
I'd
mentioned.
take Verbergen.
Verbergen?
Yeah, I'd take Verbergen. I think he's quite a good goalkeeper.
Actually, and they do mention 3 from selected other leagues. The Lille goalkeeper, Lucas Carvallier.
No.
One that we looked at before, but I think has his own problems. Diego Costa, FC Porto.
Yeah, I'd take Costa. He has got his own problems, but I would take Costa.
And then the last 2 are from Royal Antwerp and Botafogo, so I won't bother with them.
No, I don't know. I wouldn't know who they were anyway. James Trafford. Carl's put in James Trafford. He'd be a good second. I probably wouldn't put him as a first, but he was a good
City,
second.
though, I think that could be a difficult one for us to do.
Yeah, but I mean, we're going for Liam Delap, and he's ex-City.
Actually, Anthony Patterson from Sunderland and Ainsley Pearce from Blackburn are 2 that they mentioned from the Championship in this article.
Now, I watch a lot of lower league football. Obviously, I watch Doncaster play because that's where I'm from. And I watch quite a lot of Championship football. Now, Patterson is an interesting keeper. He looks like he's got a lot of, nuance and talent about him. Do I think he'd be able to jump up to the heights of Manchester United? No. I don't even know how old he actually is.
24.
Well, there you go. I think 2 years. 2 years' time, I think if we signed him and loaned him out to a Premiership team such as a Leeds United or something that's come up, let him have a bit of experience, and then in 2 years' time, all right, let's actually have a go, or just play him in cup games or something like that. It's worth a shout.
Probably a bit expensive for that, though.
Yes, that is the downside. But he is a good goalkeeper. So it's a bit of a... I wouldn't know where to land, if I'm honest.
Actually, there is one other name that Football 365 mentioned that the other ones didn't. And that is Ramsdale.
See, this is another difficult one because I get clowned for it all the time. Ramsdale is a good goalkeeper. He's played for Arsenal. He did very well for Arsenal. Is he going to be a goalkeeper that takes us up to the next level? No. He's not going to win a title with us or out like that. He might get a couple of cups, but he won't get a title with us. But is he an improvement on what we have? Well, regardless of him being relegated 3 times, look at the teams he's been relegated with. I think he would do a very, very good job for us. But he's never going to be first choice.
Yeah. Just to fill you in, interestingly, this article says that James Trafford is the best option that Manchester United should target, and that it's one that Chelsea is targeting also. But I'm going to add one myself to the mix, and this is my Irish cap firmly on. It'll never happen because he's a Scouser through and through. But Caoimhín Kelleher.
Yes. Kelleher is a very, very good and capable goalkeeper. Very good and capable. Like you said, it's never going to happen, ever, because it's Liverpool through and through. We might as well go and try and buy Alisson from him because we've probably got more of a chance of that. Or Edison from Man City, But now Kelleher would be a fantastic option. I've heard people talk about Donnarumma as well. I mean, I don't want Donnarumma. He's got such a bad attitude. Stay far away from that as possible.
Yeah, and actually, and apologies for kind of taking over your show just a small, tiny bit.
Yeah, it's fine. I love talking goalkeepers. I'm a goalkeeper myself.
But there is one other transfer that has been mentioned, and that is in the event that Bruno does happen to depart. there's a Manchester United fan sitting in a blue shirt in London that could potentially be tempted to come back up to the Northwest.
Are you about Cole Palmer?
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. We would have to pay everything we got for Bruno for Cole Palmer.
Very true.
It's just not going to happen, I'm
I had
afraid.
to mention it though.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen, I'm afraid. But I don't think we need a Cole Palmer because we're just waiting. Well, I say we're just waiting. We'll see. But apparently we're just waiting for a here we go for Cunha. So I think that takes up that spot anyway. So
I think there's a young Argentinian that's apparently is seen as the next big thing as well that plays in that kind of 10 role that apparently we're interested in.
But see, the issue I've got with these is, yes, they'd be fantastic because they're young, they've got a profile. We probably have them for, I don't know, 6-7 years. But my issue is with South Americans, their head always turns when Madrid comes sniffing. Always, or Barcelona. And I know for a fact we'd lose them.
That is a fair point, yeah. It is a difficult one to look at. And as you know from previous years, Colm, we'll be linked with every dog, their mother, and their sister-in-law as long as they play football.
Exactly. Exactly. Because Manchester United is a global name, You link to Man United, your value goes up. We all know this. Rebel, we're going to wrap it up now. We've been going for 48 minutes, so nearly an hour. Score predictions for tomorrow, and I want you to tell me who's scoring.
2-1 Manchester United. Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes.
Okay. So you're going 2-1. I'm going 4-0 Man United.
Ooh, I like this moxie. Where did this come from?
I don't know. I just got a feeling. I called a couple of games right recently, so I'm hoping this one's right as well. I'm going for an Amad Diallo brace.
Okay.
Rasmus to get one, and a Bruno penalty.
Oh, very
That's what I'm
nice.
going to go for.
That would be quite a bit of viewing. 7-0 on aggregate. It's been a while since we've had that level of an aggregate scoreline.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it, to actually start scoring some goals? Because we scored 3 on the weekend, so it's not out of the question.
Can I ask you one more score prediction?
Go
Because
on.
obviously there is another English side in action tonight. They are in Paris. Can Arsenal complete the sweep of having an English club in every single European final this year?
No. I don't think they can. PSG are that confident that Dembele's on the bench. So no. I don't think Arsenal will beat PSG. They've become a different animal since, they got rid of Mbappe.
Sorry, Bobby.
Yeah, sorry, Bobby. And I'm also going to give you a scoreline for tomorrow. And I'm going to go Bodo Glimt 3, Tottenham 1.
Yeah. By the way, just in case you're interested in throwing a cheeky quid in it, it's 25-1 for a 4-0.
Interesting. I might have to have a look at that. But no.
Man United Spotlight does not endorse gambling or advertise gambling in any way, shape, means, or form.
We don't. When the fun stops, stop. Remember that. But that's going to wrap it up. Rebel, thank you so much for joining me today. I will try and get my camera fixed because I have no idea what's going on with it. Apart from now I can see the wires loose at the back, so it's probably that. We'll probably get back together at some point again soon. We'll probably talk about whether or not we've got to the Europa League final. If we haven't, you're going to see 2 very depressed Manchester United fans because our season's over. If we have, then we're probably just going to be slating Tottenham because they'll probably get through. Let's be honest. So thank you, Rebel. Let the people know where they can find you.
More here now. Hopefully, as long as me and Cullen can sort out our schedules on MUFC Spotlight, Kerry_Rebel on the Twitter machine, and from time to time over there on Spursland, the land of Dermatron. Actually, what is he calling the channel now? I've actually forgotten what he changed it to.
It's THFC till we die.
Till we died, that's it. Yeah. But he's now got a good panel behind him, including the man, the myth, the legend that is Cullen's cousin.
Yes, big up James. Does very, very good stuff over there. Very tactically adapt as well. You can find me here.
For two, wasn't he?
Yes, it runs in the family, apparently. Runs in the family. You can find me here as well alongside Rebel. We're going to start churning out a lot more content for you. If you want to get hold of me on X, it's at FTSN Colm. You'll find me over on FTSN as well. I think we're planning on doing the Champions League final on there as well as the Conference League.
Sorry, just a breaking quote that is after coming across me. Bear with me just 2 seconds. Mikel Arteta has just made a comment in the last 24 hours about winning trophies. Winning trophies, as well as being in the right moment, in the right place. Liverpool have won the title with fewer points than we have had in the last 2 seasons. With the points of the last 2 seasons, we would have 2 Premier League titles. So you have to be in the right moment, in the right place. What?
But Arteta, you haven't won any trophies. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what points you finish on, as long as you lift that silverware at the end of it. You could finish on freaking 23 points and win a trophy. It wouldn't matter. You've still won it. So, yeah, I think that guy's losing his mind, if I'm honest with you. But thank you, everybody. Please do to make sure to do what it says at the bottom, like, subscribe, and comment. Please share it with people as well. We are a growing channel. We are new. And we will see you soon. Hopefully, we'll be in the Europa League final.
And a very good night to you.
Glory, glory, Man United.
Indeed.